Hey there guys, this is Reckles with Want to Buy Gold, and today we're talking about Inscription in Battle for Azeroth. So there's lots of new stuff here, but if you've been playing a scribe for a really long time, it'll all seem pretty familiar, because we're essentially reverting to how the profession worked in Mists of Pandaria and before. So, old things that are making a return are tomes. We've got Vantis runes back, glyphs are back, but right now the only new ones are druid glyphs. Offhands are craftable by scribes, and Darkmoon decks are back. As far as new things, inks are technically new this expansion. We're also getting scrolls back and a new craftable item called contracts. So, ink was the only thing that really required any testing, so let's cover that first. All 7 of the herbs mill down into pigment, and then you combine 1 pigment with a distilled water to make an ink. Ultramarine pigment, you'll get 2 to 6 every single time you mill an herb. For every stack of herbs, you'll get about 130, 140. Crimson pigment is still considered common, but it's a little bit more rare. You're not going to get it every single time, and when you do, you're only going to get 1 to 4. Viridian ink is the green ink. This one is the rare ink. You'll get 1 to 3 per mill rarely, and just a rule of thumb, you'll get 15 to 20 Viridian pigment per stack of herbs. Except for Anchorweed, which has a guaranteed chance at 1 to 4 of them, so you're going to get about 60 per stack. When I say 2 to 6 or 1 to 4, it's not an even distribution. I was getting 2 and 3 of the Ultramarine a lot more commonly. I was getting 1 of the Viridian a lot more commonly than I was getting 2 or 3. So, big thing here is this is going to be a lot of sitting around. If you turn 2,000 herbs into ink, that's an hour of just crafting pigment into inks. If you have a scribe and you want to go ham on this stuff, make a macro to create ink and get into the habit of hitting that macro whenever you get up to go walk your dog or go to the restroom or something. The other thing this means is that since it's annoying to turn pigment into ink, there will be a market. You will probably be able to make gold just crafting crimson ink. Now, the reason I don't think there'll be a market for ultramarine pigment into ultramarine ink is because there's nothing to do with it. As I've said here, you have about a 4 to 1 ratio when you mill herbs of getting ultramarine versus crimson ink, but everything uses crimson ink in a lot higher ratio, so we're just gonna have banks and banks full of ultramarine ink. Hopefully Blizzard will put in some kind of ultramarine pigment dump, but right now the only thing you can craft that uses just ultramarine ink is the Scroll of Unlocking, and that's a cool little scroll that lets you unlock low-level chests. So let's get into crafts. Tome of the Quiet Mind is the new spell that lets you change talents outside of major cities, and it's actually really expensive. It costs 10 ultramarine and 5 crimson. So this means that 1 stack of herbs will let you craft 8 of these, about. So if each herb costs about 20 gold, then these are going to cost 500 gold each. That's kind of expensive. Vantis runes work the same way they did back in Legion. They require 15 crimson and 6 viridian. You'll be able to make 2 or 3 per stack of herbs. We've actually only got 3 new glyphs introduced, and they're all for druids, so my guess is the profession hasn't been completed yet. Hopefully we'll get some more glyphs in, but they are all visual and they're really great. There's one where you go talk to a grumpy bear, and he's a druid and he's grumpy, and he tells you a story about how, oh my gosh, back in my day things were better. These new players think you have to have fancy flight forms in order to go faster. Back in my day things were better. He's like your typical vanilla QQer. But when you talk to him, he gives you the recipe for the Glyph of the Humble Flyer. Now, Glyph of the Dolphin turns your druid water form into a dolphin, but it's rep gated and something bugged out on my character. I can't do world quests, so I can't grow my rep. But Glyph of the Tide Skipper is really cool. It's a rare drop from the corrupted Tide Skipper mob in Stormsong Valley. This enemy spawns every 1 minute 20 seconds. And he has a set spawn location, so you can just farm this little guy and get your glyph. It took me 8 attempts, so a little bit of a grind, but oh my god, it's totally worth it. My druid looks so much better now. For the crafted offhands, you can make one for each faction. They're only eye level 300, and they use Expulsum. These are the only things that can be scrapped, only crafted items from Inscryption that can be scrapped, and it gives you less than 100% to get one Expulsum, but it costs an Expulsum to make. So if you have a scribe and you need to make a lot of these, you're gonna have to rely on scrapping items from the open world in order to generate your Expulsum. You don't have a crafted Expulsum generator. Darkmoon decks are back. If you're new to Inscryption, you wanna be knocking these out like crazy early on in the expansion. There's 4 different types of cards, and you can get an ace through an 8. When you combine the ace through the 8, you get a trinket appropriate for a specific role. So tanks, you have the Darkmoon deck Blockades. Every couple of seconds, whenever the trinket procs, you heal and gain stamina. So there's some cool little theory crafting that's going to go on there. For the Darkmoon deck Fathoms, this is Aegean Strength DPS. Chance on attack to drop an anchor, and the size of the anchor depends on the roll. I really hope this actually changes the visual. It'd be really cool if it does. Darkmoon deck Tides is the healer trinket. It's intellect, and it restores mana based on the roll, and it throws a card to a random party member, healing them and bouncing to other party members. The amount of mana restored and the number of bounces depends on the topmost card. Also, another really cool trinket. Darkmoon deck of the Squalls is the intellect DPS one, and chance on attack to apply a dot. Womp womp. I don't know, maybe it's good. Who knows? Now, on to the thing that everyone's talking about. I don't know why everyone's so excited about contracts. Contracts give you 25 reputation with a specific faction every time you complete a world quest. Now, these are permanent. They stay with you until you either manually remove the buff or you change factions that you have a contract with. And they only cost about 25 herbs to make. So expect these to sell in the 500 to, I don't know, 2,000, 5,000 range. Now, what I'm excited about, what I'm personally going to be just going freaking ham on, is War Scrolls. You've got War Scroll of Battle Shout, War Scroll of Intellect, and War Scroll of Fortitude. So these increase your attack power by 7%, your intellect by 7%, or your stamina by 7%. Now here's the thing, these affect everyone in your party or your raid. If you're in a guild progressing in current content, you're gonna use one of these every single wipe. If you're in a Mythic Plus group that's going ham and cares about min-maxing, even just a little bit, 7% stamina or 7% attack power is a big deal. You're gonna use this every single wipe. Now they cost about 40 herbs to make, so like low-end pricing for them is going to be about 1,000 gold, and once everyone realizes how good they are, you're going to be selling hundreds and hundreds of these a day. So that's it. That's all I got for Inscryption in Battle for Azeroth. Make sure you subscribe. There's a little bell next to the subscribe button that lets you get notified when I put the next video out in the Profession Review series. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day. Good luck and happy gold making.